Hello everyone. Let's proceed on to the next chapter, that is social justice. So, in a democratic country, social justice is a prerequisite for a peaceful and a participatory society. And the concept of social justice is is plank on having a society that is equal, having a society that is participatory, having a society that has the voice to participate or take part in all affairs of government. So the social justice, the planks of which are a society that is participative, and a society can participate only if the individuals are free. There is element of freedom. People have a say in the working of government. People have a say in their day-to-day life. People have a say in how their country or their region or how their common interests are being served. And participation aspect, it entails both giving votes and contesting elections. Now, coming back to the NCRT chapter, the first thing that starts with is what justice is. This chapter starts with what justice was or how it was equated in ancient Indian society. So in the ancient India, there was a concept of dharma, that is the primary duty of kings, the primary duty of those who are in charge of public faith. In the same way, in China, Confucius, the famous philosopher, argued that kings should maintain justice by punishing wrongdoers. So in not only in India but also in other society or in other cultures, the concept of dharma or concept of duty was present. And in the same way, the the birthplace of um, modern modern democracy, the Roman Empire and the Greco-Athenian Empire, that the empire that was ruling in Greece. In in both the empires, the the rulers and the philosopher alike, both of them, they pondered and deliberated over what should be just. So the element of justice and injustice, and what we are talking about right now is uh, how the present standards of social justice have been in the fashion from the old time to the present. So the chronology is such that uh, this the social justice dimension, it has been running around in the political circles from the ancient empires to the modern ones. Now, what Socrates said, Socrates reminds these young people that everyone to be unjust, if everyone manipulated rules to suit their own interests, no one could be sure of benefiting from injustice. So it was like the injustice thing, it has to be a rare thing. Then only it can be brought before law, brought before justice, or the perpetrator or the those who have um, resorted to injustice means, if they are a, a tiny minority, if they are rare, then only can the fundamental or idea of justice can be revered. In other words, if out of 100 people, a society of 100 people, 90 are criminals and 10 are saints, in such a case, the element of justice and injustice, it is a worthless talk, useless talk, because now all those criminal elements, they won't be talking about justice or meting out justice to these saintly people or the minority. In the same way, the justice, it can prevail only if the majority, many people are um are keen to preserve the status. It is because justice involves the well-being of all people. Now, what the idea of justice delivers to us. So, the idea of justice involves giving each person his due, and oh, this understanding of what is due, it it is a time-changing thing. It is a dynamic thing. So it has changed according to the times. In the previous society, ancient society, there was something else that was given to people. Uh, Virtues, uh, religious, spiritual virtues, they were kept in higher esteem. So that was then. But now, in present society, human beings, they have something else that is due to them. And this justice delivers it to it. Um, Justice requires that we give due and equal consideration to all individuals. So, what is due? Or what is that justice is being held, or justice is being talked to bring about? The idea that is being put forward here is, why would justice be invoked? Why do we need justice? So people would require justice and people would require what is due to them only if something is missing, if they want to equalize something, something injustice, something unjust has happened to them. So this unjust or this missing due, only this thing can make people invoke justice. So this idea of missing, let me elaborate it. Justice is giving what is due. So this thing, giving what is due, it is a dynamic thing. It is changes according to time. Uh, let's take an example. Someone has lost his car. It's a case of car theft. Now this thing is missing. This material thing is missing from uh, from a person, and now the person is seeking two things. One is concrete and the other is abstract. The concrete thing is, he is seeking his car back. So if justice or the machinery, it can deliver his car back, it's it would be a good endeavor. And second, even if the car is not delivered, the person is seeking an abstract concept that this this car, it has been earned. This car has been earned with hard work money. It has been earned with his money. So it was his enterprise that is missing. So he is seeking justice for losing his earning. That this commodity, this material thing, car, it was his hard work, it was his earning, so he has lost it. Now he has resorted to law or justice to get it back. This is what is due. The same, a crime has happened, the crime has been committed against a person. Say it is a um, a case of fight, a case of a violent fight. And in violent fight, the a person, he has he has suffered some injuries. So because of those injuries, there there is a loss of money. So monetary loss is there, and because of those injuries, the person, he cannot work for a few time. So again, it's occupational loss, and there might be some element of prestige. So now all these things, these are due to the person. So a man who is seeking justice from law or from rule of law against this violent fight is seeking his due, and his dues are the monetary compensation, the occupational compensation, and the prestige thing. And all of these things are what we can club together in due thing. Now, equal treatment for equal. This concept. There might be broad agreement in modern society about equal importance of all people. Yes, all people are equally important, and because of that, people deserve equal right and equal treatment. But this treat, principle of treating equally would require that people should not be discriminated against on grounds of class, caste, race, or gender. They should be judged on the basis of their work and action, not on the basis of group which they belong to. Yes, this is a good start. The equal treatment thing, and we have talked about it in the previous chapter of equality. That equality is important in a democratic country, and equals should be treated equally. Equal should be treated equally, by which the law and the legal jurisprudence, it means that whoever which are physically, materially, and all such abstract concept. So if people are physically, mentally, materially, they are equal, so they need to be treated in a equal way. And as you know that according to rule of law, e- everyone is equal before the eyes of law. And as we talked about article from fundamental rights, article 14 to 18, we have had this clear idea that in these articles from 14 to 18, everyone is given an equal status before law. Equal status before law, and other than that, this equality concept is not absolute. So there are reasonable or technical aspects here, technical limitations here, which are a person cannot be discriminated or segregated or kept out just because of nonsense things such as race, caste, religion, gender, etc. So these are nonsensical criteria. But the technical aspects, such as to join an engineer force or an engineer corporation, you would need to have the technical caliber, the technical competence to be an engineer. So you must have a bachelor of engineering, bachelor of technology. In the same way, if you want to join military forces, you need to have that physical and mental competence. Otherwise, you would not be selected. So technical limitations are there. Yes, and those limitations are justified. But these limitations, such as limitations of race, limitations of caste, religion, gender. These are not justified, unjustified limitations. And the other aspect of rule of law, that is, a law guarantees that everyone is treated equally. So equal people, those who have reasonable material and physical material plus physical plus mental caliber. So by which I mean they are mentally sane, they are physically fit, or they are physically okay, and they have something to work against. They have basic amenities. So these are equal people, and these equal people, they can be grouped into other of such kind, grouped into other equals, and all of them, the whole group of equal people, they would be treated equally before rule of law. But what about those people who are historically, or who are physically or mentally or any other criteria, they are already unequal, such as those who are physically challenged? These people are already unequal. How would they can be placed against the equal ones? It would not be wise to raise someone who is limp, to raise a limp against Usain Bolt. It's a futile exercise, and everybody know that the limp is going to lose. And in the same way, if somebody is mentally challenged, so if somebody is reeling under depression or any such depression, anxiety, uh, any other dissociative disorders, or any such mental disorders, they are not mentally capable of working like any other sane person or any other normal or equal person. In such a case, those who are already unequal, they cannot be put in the same group under which the equal persons are. And the third ones, the historical unequals, such as those people, those communities, those castes, those groups that have been oppressed for centuries, and they have been oppressed so much so that some of them have not risen from the graves they are in, risen from the situation they are in. In that case also, these three groups, the physical one, the mental one, and the historical, all of them, they can be clubbed into unequal. And now this unequal group, they, all of its inhabitants, all of its members of this unequal group, they can be treated equally. So the rule of law concept, or the equality concept, it is it can be divided into two. The first, a group of equal person, and second, a group of unequal person. So the first situation, all equal should be treated equally, and unequal should be treated in their own groups. And now an equal person would not be competed against an unequal person. That is the gist of whole social justice and economic thing. Now back to our chapter, proportionate justice. The concept of proportionate justice, it, it says that provided everybody starts from the same baseline of equal rights, justice in such cases would mean rewarding people in proportion to the scale and quality of their effort. It means that people would be rewarded, and people would be compensated, remunerated based on on the proportion to the scale and quality of their effort, which means it would be fair and just to reward different kind of work differently. Yes. So if we see the kind of work in a different light, or the kind of work based on the parameters, based on the efforts required, based on the skills required, and the possible dangers involved, so we can reward different thing differently. In the same way, the work of a shopkeeper, a teacher, a miner, a sportsman, a celebrity, and an explorer, a military personnel, a policeman. So all these person, all from shopkeepers, military personnel, a teacher, a doctor. So all of these occupation, they have different element of different degrees of work experience, efforts, skills, and dangers involved, or risk involved. And their compensation or their reward would depends on the parameters upon which the work is being done. So this proportionate justice kind of thing, it is being held here, and this example is being cited to make you understand that the justice thing, it also need to be proportionate to the other criteria of people who are seeking justice. So if a woman is seeking justice against voyeurism, and the same, a physically challenged, a disabled women from lower caste such as SC, she is seeking justice against rape. So both of these concepts, both of them involves lot of other background criteria. So first, she is a woman. Second, she is disabled. Third, she belongs to uh, a backward, or a deprived caste. And the case is about rape. So all of these elements are involved here. And while seeking justice, the the concept of proportionate justice says you need to keep all those other background or other adjacent criteria in mind while delivering justice. So, and this idea is similar to the idea we have talked about, that equal should be treated equally and unequal should be treated equally. Both these groups should be separated, and this is because the unequal people may have other such circumstances that need to be looked at. And now the third principle of justice, that is recognition of spatial needs, which that society needs to take into account spatial needs of people while distributing rewards. And in the same way, now the reward thing, you can equate it with justice. The reward thing is just to make you understand the concept. So this justice thing, or this compensation thing, because justice is also giving what is due, or justice is making you complete. So something is missing, that's why you are seeking something, you're seeking your due, and by by the delivery of justice, you're hoping that the thing you are seeking, the due you are seeking, it will be given to you, and that will make you complete. In the same way, the third principle of justice, recognition of spatial needs, it also says that while distributing rewards or justice, the the society or people, they should also take into account the spatial needs of people. And here, but even non-discrimination between people and rewarding them proportionately to their efforts might not be enough to ensure that people enjoy equality in other aspects of their life. The principle of taking account of the spatial needs of people does not necessarily contradict the principle of equal treatment. It is same as if you are equal, then you can be competed against an equal. So if you are a physically fit person, uh, if you have been given all the opportunity to travel to be trained as an athletic runner, an athlete, and government, society, all philanthropists, all has poured money to train you like Usain Bolt. And when after having trained and after having employed so much resources on you, you have been competed against some of some of, or one of your own category, a sprinter or runner. So this is an equal treatment. But if someone is um, physically or mentally not equally capable, such as someone is suffering from a motor neuron disease, now the person, the sufferer, is already reeling under some disability. In such a case, to compete the person against Usain Bolt, it would be unwise and unjust. So, if you take the the condition of person, the special needs of person into account, it will not be contradictory to the principle of equal treatment. Yes, people with special needs or disability could be considered unequal in some particular aspect and deserving of special help. Yes, if a government department, it is situated on the second or third floor. In such a case, the person with the physical disability or person on a wheelchair, he cannot climb up to those stairs. So this thing will be discriminatory, and those who are fit enough, those who can easily walk on their 2 feet, they can climb up to this second or the third floor and get their work done. But those who are in wheelchair, it would be an impossible task. So now the government can do, it can open a small kiosk on the ground floor, a small kiosk on ground floor which has a ramp, and it might entail opening a kiosk. It might use some resources, it might cost some money, and it might be like giving special consideration to those who cannot walk, special consideration to those who are on wheelchair. But as a sane person and as a justice loving person, we cannot argue this thing. We know the person on wheelchair, he can never climb up to the second floor, and even if he could, this will take a lot of time, lot of energy, and it might frustrate his own efforts. So in such a case, so those who are deserving some help, they should be given to it. So physical disabilities, age or lack of access to good education or healthcare are some of the factors. Yes, I have been talking about physical disability, but there are other things also, such as age. So the age factor, especially we can take the age factor for pediatricians or facilities for senior citizens. So we know that with age, certain physical and mental process, they get slowed down. So a person is not that capable of running usual tasks as a young person can do. In such a case, we can take this factor into account and we can provide facilities to the seniors. Yes, they have lived their life, they have contributed something, and now it's our time, it's our responsibility to look after them. And now there are many persons who have who have had lack of access to good education, healthcare, and these things can be considered while talking about justice. That different standard of living and opportunities are treated equally in all respects, and those who are deprived of even the basic minimum need to live a healthy and productive life. Now, coming to the next, just distribution. The concept of just distribution, it says the government need to do more than just ensuring that people are treated equally. So it's not just talk, it is the actual implementation on the ground level, which means the social justice also means that the government should concern about the just distribution of goods and services, whether it is between nation or between different groups or individuals within a society. Yes, in a diverse country such as India or in anywhere in the world, there are inequalities. And to address those inequalities, it is necessary to try and redistribute some of the important resources of the society. And how and where, so all such why and how, all such questions, it can be deliberated upon. We are a parliamentary. We are sane people. We elect according to our own discretion. So the elected people, they can decide which resources are going to who and in how and in what manner. Yes. Now, within a country, social justice would require not only that people are treated equally. So only legal jurisprudence, it is not sufficient in itself. People also need to enjoy some basic quality of life and condition. And as you can remember, when we started with the chapter freedom, we talk about the two concepts that are inherent in it. The first one is the freedom is absence of limitations, and the other is the presence of basic conditions. So the freedom can be enjoyed, liberty and even equality can be enjoyed only if the basic conditions are available. So other than providing legal resources, government should also provide some resource-led um, uh, help, such as it can provide other life conditions and opportunity so that those people who are devoid of them, those people who are lacking them, they can pursue a good life. Next, the Constitution abolished the practice of untouchability. Yes, Article 17. Untouchability in all its form has been abolished. And for that, government has also enacted a law, Civil Rights Act, and people from lower caste, the historical uh, unequal people, the historically oppressed people, they have also been given access to temples, jobs, basic necessity like water, and earlier these basic things were not available to them. Now, different government or even national governments, the government of India, it can also redistribute important resources like land to so that these historically oppressed people or these these people who are needing justice, who are needing what is due to them, they can be given a dignified life. Yes. Now, when government distribute resources in this manner, and now the resources are being talked about is money or the tax that government collects annually. And now this tax is being redistributed in the form of scholarship and reservation. But this reservation thing and its scholarship, they also arouse fear opposition from many sections of society. They think that this is this treatment, this helping people, this is not fair. But uh, reservation or redistribution of resources, that's a legal and technical term, redistribution of resources via reservation and scholarships. So this redistribution of resources, it's not an unjust thing that has been invoked by and that has been and, highlighted by many sections of society. They say that it will, if you give reservation to certain sections such as SC, ST, OBC, minorities, and physically disabled people, if you are giving um, reservations to them, this will be against merit. Against merit means this will not be good. This will be against the principle of merit. This will be against those who have been working day and night, those who have been burning midnight oil, those who have been studying hard to get an educational or occupational post, and while they find that out of 100, around 30 posts are being reserved for these sections, and they are angry about it. So the first thing is, these are historically oppressed people. So this operation or this injustice, it's not a one-off event, it's not a one generational event, it's an intergenerational event that has been going on since the time immemorial, or as far as you can trace it. So even Ibn Battuta, Fayan, they have talked about it. They have talked about the historical operation or the, the situation of caste system. And in such a case, that people of last 1,000 years, they have been in such a situation that some of these ideas, some of this operation, it has gotten into their nerves, it has gotten into their whole societal hierarchy. In such a case, they need to be lifted up, they need to be lifted from their place, they need to be given something to stand up against. And this is not a thing against merit. It is just that if out of 100 posts are segregated into 70 and 30, so 70 posts are given to equals and 30 posts are given to unequals. And now the rule of law and equality principle, that equal would be treated equally and unequal would be treated equally. In such a case, the 70 would fight against themselves, or 70 would compete against themselves. And in the same manner, these 30 would compete against themselves. So the element of merit and competition itself is there. And it is all just that the flank upon which we have fought the national struggle, the freedom struggle, the important platform upon which we have mobilized the whole section of people. Now the country that works on constitution, and this constitution has been a work of millions of people together. The British could not have vanished, or British could not have gone from here before exploiting us to our bones. They left our country just because every section of people, all masses, all different sections, the whole individual and planks of diversity, they rose against, they rebelled against the British in a united way. And when British saw this, that they could not rely on any section of society. They could not live and work and rule amongst a society that has united in opposition. And this this unity had made them leave our country. And this unity was possible because the nationalist leader, they have talked about these virtues such as equality, freedom, social justice. What if the these same people, if during the historical during the freedom struggle, if these person would, if they had not been given the recourse, if they had not been given the promise, then something would be done for them. So the participation of these 30% participation of this section could not be ensured. And if one plank could have gone wrong in a country which is full of diversity, so many such flank, if they had not been given such promises and they had not been brought together and mobilized, they we could not have been free. The British could never have left if the the sections they had not been put together. They had not been brought together. So the the 70-30 thing, or the reservation thing, or the consideration of spatial needs, it should not be um, it should not be opposed. Yes, but we are in a parliament, we are in a democratic country, we can talk about it, we can find a way in which the benefits really reach the needy. And the students of political theory, however, we should be able to calmly examine the issue involved in terms of understanding of principle of justice. Yes, we should understand it in this way, that this thing has happened, that those disadvantaged, they they need help, but the help, it need to be justified. And since we have a working and functioning democracy, we can justify all the means that we provide. So that's all for now. Thank you very much.